Hi guys, I'm Juan here, Up in the Sun, where I bring you lifestyle and fandom realness. I am so excited. Please excuse the busted look for now. Today is travel day. I have not been out of New York City since last year. You know, when you're working class, you live in a very expensive city, you spend a lot of your time just trying to pay rent. And we all know that the majority of my free money goes towards my collecting. If you're not rich, you can't do it all, so you gotta pick and choose. And this time I chose to actually take advantage and go out and get a jump start on spooky season, because I will be visiting the town of Sleepy Hollow. I am in my Sleepy Hollow era. In preparation for this trip, I've done a lot of research, a lot of history readings about the town and Washington Irving, the author of Sleepy Hollow, and of course Rip Van Winkle. And it's just so crazy to know that history is like less than an hour and a half away from New York City. Excuse me, I need some coffee. I gotta get going because there's so many things I need to do before we leave today. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and finish my breakfast, and the next time you see me, hopefully I'll be more dolled up and ready to go. I'm so excited to take you with me. Okay guys, I made it to Grand Central Station and I am so excited. Well, I guess it's called Grand Central Terminal, excuse me, but I'm excited because I need to get some lunch and then we will be departing soon. I'm trying to make that 143 Poughkeepsie Tarrytown first stop. It's really an iconic place to be at. I mean, I don't know. But we're trying here. I'm just waiting for my friend, and then again we're gonna get some lunch and then we're gonna head out. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. You believe at one time that was an apartment? I'll go ahead and look down below the history on the apartment in Grand Central. Oh my god, y'all, we made it. We're here. We are gonna head over to Patriot Park. I will say though, that was a very fast trip. It only took us about 40 minutes to get here. I was expecting close to an hour, but it was super fast. It's very convenient to get here. So now all we have to do is trek up these mountainous hills. This is what I mean by mountainous. What is this? San Francisco? Killer view though, that bridge. Wow. That's the Governor Cuomo Bridge. We're just strolling down Main Street, and this is a beautiful, beautiful Main Street. It's very hilly. There is the first brush we get with the name of Washington Irving for Tarrytown, Sleepy Hollow. Very exciting. Yo, the weather is perfect. The sun is out. It's fresh. I couldn't have picked a better time to come here. This town is so darling. It has so much history already running through its veins, just walking through. It's such an honor to really be in a very historic space. Patriot Park truly deserves the name because this park does honor a lot of fallen soldiers. Okay guys, we made it to the Sleepy Hollow sign. Welcome to historic Sleepy Hollow. It's amazing. A lot of people do complain, oh, it's such a busy road. I'm like, that's what happens when it's a main road. Of course it's gonna be busy. But this is so freaking cool. So I'm staying at the beautiful Tarrytown House Estate on the Hudson. Okay, we are heading out now. We have dinner plans closer to where we're going tonight. This is a very nice place. They allow dogs, so there's a very yappy dog down the way from us. So outside of that, very comfortable accommodations.
But I had the old jacket in the car. Figured it will do.
Oh my gosh, guys. Let me just tell you, I'm back at the hotel. I just got back from the lantern lit tour of Sleepy Hollow Cemetery at night. It was so great. I was so freaked out, but it was so worth it. If you are coming to Sleepy Hollow, you need to schedule a lantern tour at night. It's amazing. Lots of great information of the history. And our tour guide, he was amazing. There was two. The other girl, she was so sweet as well. I, of course, forgot everybody's name, but it was so fun and so well worth it. I even saw a deer, this massive deer with massive antlers, like just scurry away. We're like, oh my gosh. It was really fun. So this will be the end of day one. I'm going to go back in and refresh and then get some sleep, and I will see y'all in the morning. Good morning. We are in day 2 on this wonderful trip to Sleepy Hollow / Tarrytown, and this is the view behind me. You can see the old house. This is such a beautiful property. We're going to go ahead and walk it eventually. As you can see, they had a Keurig in the room, which is really nice. A nice room, very close to the lobby, and is close to the pool. So I'm looking forward to doing that later today. First, we're going to be going to Lyndhurst Manor. Now this backlighting is awful, so I apologize. We're going to Lyndhurst Manor, and that is the place that is based from Dark Shadows, the TV series from the 70s. It's like the exterior of the house for that show. It's 7:54 a.m. right now. I'm gonna head down to breakfast. I think they have a continental breakfast, buffet style breakfast, $25 per person. All right, I'll check back with you soon. This is Biddle Mansion. This is where they host the breakfast. We are here at the famous Lyndhurst Manor, and I'm so excited. There's so many great things about this place, and when we went on the cemetery tour last night, they told us so much about the history of the owners of this place, And of course, one of them is buried at Sleepy Hollow. So yeah, so I'm excited to go look inside. I don't know if they're gonna let me record inside. However, this is just the outside. I'll try to do my best. Okay, let's see what happens. Stunning, gorgeous. Can you believe? Ah, this is so beautiful. I'm excited. That was amazing. Out of respect, I'm not going to show what's inside because you honestly should come here in person and see for yourself. It's amazing. So much history here, and it was just such a honor, true honor to experience it in person. Look at that. So cool. So if you come out this way on the back, and you can't come this way, it's blocked off. But there are stairs that come out down this way in the back, and this is where you will find a hornet's nest and the bathroom over here. So we've got to go. Another way to get to those bathrooms is coming down this path here, out over here towards the hornets. All you have to do is find the rose garden, and it's right down the way. If you decide to come out here, just know that the whole grounds is massive, so you will be trekking unless you're not able-bodied, and then of course there are passageways to access, but it's kind of hard actually. I think this is not for people with disabilities. I mean, it is. I'm sure they have their the rules and whatever, but it's just a lot of walking, hills, bugs. I'm just like, oh, okay. Not that that's anything bad, but this is pretty country for I guess it's Westchester County, and it's Lyndhurst, man. So freaking cool. Oh my gosh, can't believe I'm here. It is such a beautiful day. It's so tranquil, and there's a breeze, and you just continue to go on and on. And just look at the grounds. This is awesome. Truly, everyone that's able needs to come here. It's so good. That was so amazing. I loved Lyndhurst Manor. Y'all, getting around on foot is not for the faint of heart. But I just took an Uber over here closer because we are going back to Sleepy Hollow Cemetery, and we're gonna go check out the south side. Oh, shout out to Fred Astaire, Sleepy Hollow. How cool. Y'all, check this out. This is amazing. You'll be able to go to a museum and cafe over here, so that's what I'm going to check out. But that's where you will find this baby right here. So cool. This is Phillipsburg's Manor. I didn't get tickets to go see it today, but essentially you just get to walk through the grounds And I don't really know how I feel about walking through a place that had active slaves. Kind of creepy, but otherwise it's crazy historic. Like, you just walk in and you're like, oh, back in time. Wow. Here he is. Oh my gosh. Yes, people do have to yell because cars are coming, but this is it. This is the statue dedicated to the Headless Horseman. So cool. Run, Ichabod! He's coming! And here we have it, folks. Wow, this is so exciting. I love this. So this is the famous Headless Horseman Bridge. Obviously this was not what the bridge was like back in the day, but this was not here. But now, something we can all enjoy. Be careful when you're coming by here. It's interesting. So we are definitely back at Sleepy Hollow. We're going in through the South Gate entrance, which is to the Old Dutch Church, and it's just stepping into Washington Irving's story. It's just so cool. And now we're here in the daytime, so I can finally see things as they were meant to be seen. But I did love that lantern tour, no doubt. So hot. Oh my gosh, there's a breeze. Thank you. Oh, there's a breeze. But it feels so good. Because, man, we are hiking today. We are getting exercise in, and it's crazy. And I'm like, wow, I need to do more. Because this is so great, but only if you got some good stamina, because dang, a lot of hills. We all know how the Headless Horseman lost his head. It said that the Hessian had his head blown off from a cannon fire. So next time you look at a cannon, you're like, that was the origin story for the Headless Horseman. These views, though. This area was also a point of interest in the tour, and it's pretty impressive. That's supposed to be the anchor angel, and then this Christ the Redeemer. And if you notice, he has parts that are missing. And this angel here was supposed to have a lamp that's missing. So essentially this person who is suffering from mental illness came in here with a machete and started chopping away at these confusing beings. Just look at this gate, how cute. Hey guys, it's about 2 hours now after going back to Sleepy Hollow. I am exhausted, as you can tell, and the hay fever is getting to me, but it's okay. I am so excited to be here, even though I look like death. But it was super fun. My battery died like as soon as we visited those statues that were cut up. So unfortunately I couldn't show you any other stuff in the daytime, but either way I didn't want to spoil it for you. It'll be a perfect opportunity for you to actually come and see it in person. It is crazy. It just holds a lot of rich people. A lot of history there. Good morning, friendos. I know I haven't really been doing the best upkeep on vlogging. However, we just checked out the hotel and now we're making our way over to Washington Irving's Sunnyside. And I'm so excited because this is where the author of Sleepy Hollow, Rip Van Winkle, spent his final days. As you can see, we're hoofing it. We could have taken an Uber, but it said it was only like 20-minute walk away. And of course, living in New York City, you're like, I can make that. But yeah, just be very careful if this is what you decide to do. Definitely don't do this alone. Found it. Let's go in. Oh shit. Look at this spider. Holy hell, that's a huge spider. And guys, that's a wrap. This was a wonderful trip to Tarrytown / Sleepy Hollow. It was amazing. I will be back in a moment and we will discuss about all the things that I experienced and some of the gifts that I was able to pick up. So I'll see you soon. And just like that, we are back home. That was such a wonderful trip. I could not stress enough how much needed that was. When you work in New York City and, like, again, I was saying, you're striving to survive, you kind of get stuck here. There's not a lot of opportunities to break free. So as you saw, we were able to catch the train at Grand Central Terminal, and we took the Metro North, and this train will take you up the Hudson Valley. The train I caught was an express train, so even though it had one stop in between, there's a stop in Harlem that the train picks you up at. And from there, then the first stop was Tarrytown, which was super convenient. I would say if you decide to take a train up there, that you should be expecting either to Uber a lot, and is that financially viable for you? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. It worked out in my case, at least. I think the most expensive Uber was maybe around $20 because of the peak of the time frame or whatnot. Or maybe it's because I accidentally hit the comfort level. Each Uber ride averaged around $10. I still honestly believe it was cheaper than renting a car because normal 2-day car rental is like $140, right? Depending. But if you are driving, good for you. Be careful though, because it's pretty congested because it is a small coastal city and there are just a lot of people moving through. So practicing some patience is key. Tarrytown House Estate on the Hudson. Now this was a bit of a splurge. There are other accommodations that you could look for. But for me, I wanted somewhere that was close to two of the main attractions that I was going to go for, which is Lyndhurst Manor and Washington Irving's Sunnyside. Both of those places were walkable from the hotel, but not pedestrian friendly because these estates are set back. So even though you can walk up to the entrance, just know that it's going to be another hike heading to the main event. So for me, that was, again, I definitely was feeling like I was getting a lot of exercise on this trip. So please plan to dress accordingly if you decide to brave it and hike it to these places, light shirts, shorts. I went at the end of the summer, so it was really nice and warm out. But if you're going in the fall, I don't know, even if you are walking around, just dress accordingly. I got bit up by all the freaking bugs. So if you decide to go during the warmer months, make sure you bring some bug repellent with you. Again, everything I do is on the fly, unfortunately. So the planning doesn't ever work out like I think it is. So we get into the hotel, beautiful hotel. It had a wedding was happening during the time we got there, so we were asked if we were part of the wedding party, and I said no. But what I will give them credit for is that even though there was a wedding happening, it didn't feel like you were just like being like rushed through, that you were given the same amount of attention, even though, you know, sometimes when there's an event, the event guests get certain priorities. But I never felt that I was looked over. I will say that I did book this room through a secondary party, and that's what ended up making it affordable for me, because I get a discount on the room. The grounds are beautiful. It was kept very well. I kind of wish that I did book just one more night just so I could enjoy the hotel itself more, because it offers a lot. They have like games, and they have a lot of outdoor activities you can do. There's a basketball court, there's tennis court, they have an indoor pool, they have an outdoor pool, they had a racquetball court, which was super fun. I've never played before. Definitely recommend one day at the hotel to just chill, enjoy the amenities, and really just give yourself a breather, because you all know when you're trying to cram through all your things, it just feels extremely rushed and that you're actually running out of time. I never felt that way, but I knew that I had certain activities that had a strong time, and if you didn't stay to the time, you knew that you were going to be continuing to it. Like the tour to Sunnyside, it was at 11:30 a.m. Checkout was at 11, and I was like, okay, the hike there is going to be like maybe 15-20 minutes. So, you know, I was really pushing it at the 11:30, and I have heard in the past that if you miss your time, they will not go ahead and, you know, let you onto the tour. You're late, you can't go. Maybe you could negotiate to go into the second tour, who knows? But, you know, you just never know. So you just really want to respect people's time, because it's not just you, it's a group tour. So there's other people on that group that you want to respect their time too. You know, just because you're late, no matter what, it doesn't supersede everybody else who actually made the effort to be there on time. What I did like is that even though getting around was a little inconvenient because everything's so spaced out, once you get into Sleepy Hollow itself, you have a nice little restaurant row of options. It is a small town, so it doesn't have like a bunch of restaurants or fast food chains that you would be expecting, which I thought was really nice, but at the same time a little limiting, because once it becomes more smaller and local, prices are higher, and it just doesn't serve everybody's palate. So I really had to do some digging and searching and find a place that was, you know, something I would just enjoy eating at, that wasn't a specialty or wasn't overpriced because of the location. So I ended up at JP Doyle's, and it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was the worst service. The bartender, he took our order really quickly. He was really nice and friendly. But I felt like if you weren't a local, then they really were not so, I don't know, I guess I'm just used to a different kind of service. It was on Friday night, and it wasn't poppin'. This, when they call it Sleepy Hollow, they mean it. It is a sleepy town. So during the non-peak holiday season, so, which is of course the Halloween season for them. So I just caught Sleepy Hollow before it got super crazy, because they say it gets nuts there once, you know, October starts to kick in, and I believe it, because you are the holder of a very iconic spooky story, and there are a lot of spooky people that get obsessed with these things, and they come out in droves, and it's wonderful. But, you know, it was the best time to go, because when I do believe I want to try to go during the spooky season, but again, I'm a little reticent, because I don't like participating at the height of anything, because everything gets inflated way out of proportion, prices go higher, and people will just pay it because they don't know any better. So I definitely caught it at a great time. I did have the Horseman Burger. It was delicious. It was a lot of food for the price, which is great servings. I did try some local beer in the area, which was really delicious. An IPA, yeah. It was just good. It was delicious, but again, I had to like wolf it down, because at 8 o'clock, I got there at the restaurant at 7. Again, worst timing ever. because I was just, taking too much time, wasn't factoring in, the availabilities of Ubers. That is also a factor. Because it's such a small rural place, there may not be that as readily available Ubers for you. And, I ended up having to hike it to the cemetery, and that was extremely dangerous because it was dark and there was no real sidewalks going to the north gate of the cemetery. So that was such a stressful experience overall. I would say I didn't have many negative experiences, and that wasn't negative in itself because we made it on time, and it was a great tour. But that poor planning really was a setback on my mental health, because I was like, oh my gosh, these cars, they will hit you if they can't see you. So it was a very, precarious situation. I do not recommend. So make sure you have all that set up way beforehand. Make sure you have your dinner way earlier at 6 if you can. So that way you have enough time to get that Uber to comfortably get to your destination. At the end of that tour, we had our fellow tourists, I guess you'd call. We're noticing that we were about to order an Uber for the night, because we're just like, okay, we got in this hike, we're exhausted, we had spent 2 hours on this amazing thing, we're ready to go. And they asked us, they're like, oh, where are you guys going? And we're like, oh, we're just going to go into town, and we're going to, we're just going to go to the hotel, whatever. And they said, well, we can at least take you into town. And I said, well, that's very nice of you, and you never look a gift horse in the mouth, right? So when they offered, and, they didn't seem like they would go murder us, but you never know. But they were so nice, and we struck up a great conversation with them at the beginning of the tour, so they were very friendly. And so they ended up actually taking us to the hotel that night, which was so fortunate for us, and especially the ordeal getting there. Anyway, shout out to them. Did not catch their names. Again, I'm the worst person. But that just goes to show you that there are kind people all over. You get back what you give. So we were giving off good energy. They in turn returned that, and they were able to take us to the hotel. And the young lady was like, well, she's like, oh, I know exactly where that is. My company had a meeting conference there recently. And they were giving us wonderful tips and things to go and see. And obviously we just did not have the time for all the wonderful recommendations. But now for next time, I know where to go for some other things, which is really nice. So that was just a wonderful act of human kindness that, I greatly, greatly appreciated. Now, the next day, we were going to Lyndhurst Manor, and this was a free tour. It was open to the public for the day. You didn't have to pay a fee. You just had to make a reservation. So this was awesome. And I did not know much about Lyndhurst Manor. At the cemetery tour, they did talk about the former owners of that mansion are laid to rest there. So it was nice to tie in that story to being actually walking the halls of the place that they once lived in, which was really cool. And it is, of course, the setting for Dark Shadows. I'm not really a big Dark Shadows fan, but I like anything that has anything to do with like Hollywood or something like that, a good history of TV, a good cinema. So I was a fan of that. It's beautiful inside. Of course, they couldn't really show you because I wanted to save the integrity of the manor, and you should actually go check it yourself because it's gorgeous. It's so crazy how they lived back then, how it's not as different as we're living now. So, of course, societally, yes, extremely different. But when you walk through, you're just like, dang, okay, get it. There's like something about how they would place the furniture to make it more accessible, and like the flow was better. And I was like, why don't we still do that? And those grounds were massive, and it's like, oh my gosh. If it wasn't for the bugs, it was going to be like a 10 out of 10 for me. And we were able to go back into town to go to see the cemetery in daylight, and which was free. You didn't have to pay for that. You can just walk in. The cemetery does close at 4:30, and it is a private cemetery, so they do have a set of rules that you should respect. It's not a public park, so we were able to go into the south side. That's where you will see the old Dutch church in all its glory. And on the way there, you will see the statue, you will see the bridge, and then you will see the old Dutch church. And you go on from there. As you know, that my phone died, almost died practically in the middle of the whole thing. So I had to shut it off because I was at 5%. And then my friend's phone died. So we did not have a battery pack on us. So we are really not doing it correctly. We're taking lots of risks. So I shut my phone off when we just complete going all the way from the South Gate to William Rockefeller's mausoleum. That's like a mile worth of walking through the cemetery, which is crazy. And again, it's very hilly. Like there's a lot of incline to get to the different levels, and it's just a lot on your body. So if you're not a fit person or you struggle, just take it easy and make sure you have plenty of water because it was hot and you will get dehydrated. So by the end of it, after we went back, saw some of those markers of the tour in daylight, I was ready to head back to the hotel, turn the phone on, 5%, low battery, get the Uber, get Uber is secured, and then my phone dies. And I'm like, holy hell. I was hoping that reservation stayed, and of course it was good, and we were able to take the Uber back to the hotel. But man, there were moments on this trip where I was just stressing, and not because of my company, but just because of like things that are totally within your control. Just, goes a different direction because of very poor planning. Because I'm not a big risk taker, things like that definitely send me, have me spinning out or spiraling, as they say. But I was able to quickly get over it, and at no point were we in danger. So that was the best part. Getting back to the hotel was wonderful because that's when we were able to relax a little bit. We had nothing planned that night. We just had some Uber Eats for dinner. The restaurant, Goose Feather, beautiful setting, beautiful old house. However, the menu was not particularly to my liking. It has like an Asian fusion type menu, and I just wasn't in the mood for that. I wasn't in the mood to spend some extra money for that. But it was pretty cool because they have a bar and they have an outdoor area in the back where you can drink. And then, of course, they had the lawn out front with the lights so you can sit down and drink for a moment as well. It is a popular place. They were receiving plenty of guests throughout the time. So, good for them. The continental breakfast was amazing. It is $25 per person, so keep that in mind. But there was no limitations on the amount of juice, coffee, food you can eat to your advantage. We got, as you can see, set next to a really beautiful view of the Hudson over the pool area, so I couldn't be more grateful for that. Overall, I cannot wait to go back again. It was amazing, and I'm just going to put it on my list of things like to keep going to year after year, no matter how long I still am living in New York City. But there's just not a place you just can't miss, and I know I didn't get to do everything, so there's plenty more still to discover. Now time for the merch. Yay! So I did end up picking a lot of things because I wasn't there for stuff. I was there for the experience. But there's some great things that you could pick up, which were, as you can see here, this little pamphlet here that says Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. And then it just gives you a rundown of the type of tours that they offer. So this was a nice little freebie. Also, this is the map of the Sleepy Hollow Cemetery, which is cool. But look how massive it is. This is a massive cemetery, okay? So it's not for the faint of heart. And again, it is a private cemetery, so you have to be respectful of what's going on. And then there's this pamphlet here that says Celebrate Halloween, and you can see the iconic Headless Horseman here. And it just gives you some a rundown of events going on during spooky season, which is pretty cool. They have something called the Blaze, where they have like tons and tons of lanterns lit, and it's so cool. It's so popular, they ended up doing a version of it in Long Island. So You can look that up. I'll actually link everything that you've seen during this video. I'll have links to it down below, so you can go ahead and peruse and plan out your trip to Sleepy Hollow. Of course, this trip would not have been nothing without some pins. So I was able to pick up this pin for Lyndhurst Manor. It's so cute. So this is just a white outline of the facade of the building. So very simple, but you know, it's so distinct, the architecture. This was Lyndhurst Manor. So great. Another one was a must was, of course, this Headless Horseman pin, which is so great. I ended up getting this pin at the Historic Hudson Valley Museum and Shop, and it's located like on the way to Sleepy this Hollow Cemetery. There is a place called Phillipsburg Manor, and that is where they had, you know, slaves there, and they still preserved the house and the land and whatnot. But in front of that is a gift shop, and there is where I was able to pick up this item. I got this cute shirt. I love this style. I've seen this style on patterned up on Etsy several places, but you know, you want to be able to support the efforts of Hudson Valley, Historic Hudson Valley. They, you know, do all the preservation for that area, so including Washington Urban Slave Site. So anything that you do, that you spend there is going directly in support to help keep those wonderful places going. You have the Headless Horseman there, and I just love the look of the jack-o'-lantern. He's so cute, and the horse is adorable, and yes, the Hestian. Great, super nice shirt. It's just, you know, super simple. It's just gray all over. You can see the tag here, Historic Hudson Valley. The shirt was on sale for $16, which was great because I think they're normally retailing for like $25. So I was like, I ain't trying to spend a lot of money. I'm already spending plenty here. But I saw it, it was on sale, and I was like, why not? Super cute. Cannot wait to rock this during spooky season. And that's it. That was my trip to Sleepy Hollow / Cherrytown. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed the vlog. I hope you enjoyed this little summary and the little merch haul I got here going for you. Links will be listed below of everything that I was able to attend and the places to see and do while you're there. Comment down below if you plan on visiting Sleepy Hollow anytime in the future. Please remember to be safe. Tell somebody that you love them, because tomorrow's never promised. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye!